on this computer. Perfect, and I will bring this part back up. And everybody have a
Remember you have that meeting.
call the meeting to order.
Calling the meeting to order at 12:13.
You can just ask if
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything to add?
attendance.
Attendance.
So
We need to get you a script.
yeah, we'll get you a script. We're trying to working our way through it.
So attendance,
Yes.
Brittany's here.
Here.
Leticia? Here. Griselda? Here.
Chair Cepeda.
Here.
Okay, and then
Who's absent?
Gardner, Hart, and
Lindsay.
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 Yeah, but I think Lindsay might be out for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
I'm trying to like read minds with eyes, like what he's trying to think.
Okay. We'll make it through that. Okay, so next we'll move on to active agenda, which is right down here. So active agenda. Previously, we were reviewing the Roger Brooks report, and we had made it to about page 50. So I'll zoom all the way over there.
You can type in a 50 in that box. It says 3,
I
and then
know.
it goes right there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we were right about here. So if you remember from last time, we were breaking these down into 3 separate categories. One which we could implement through design standards, one which we can implement through policy standards, and one which kind of falls into other, not exactly policy or design, but something else that we might need to think about a little bit more creatively. So I believe that we were talking about, let's go back to the previous page. Yeah, so we were talking about signage and sidewalks and the walk-ups to different buildings that Roger Brooks kind of covered in their assessment.
Which one's that one? 53.
53 here. I'm not sure.
A comment that says really no weapons allowed, get rid of closed signs and restrooms for customers only.
I
Right.
don't know what business that is, so.
I'm not sure either. So this, so we can get into, that's something I guess I'll address with the group today is the weapons and concealed carry thing. So essentially, the city wants to stay out of it. So we want to stay out of any, and I'll address this because it's up there right now. Anything, and their Supreme Court actually just had a ruling on this year, and I sat in a little webinar about it, but anything that has to do with the regulation of people being allowed to carry or not to carry concealed weapons, open carry weapons into any sort of private businesses.
Up to the business owner,
It's up there, yeah, up to a business owner. The city can regulate its own spaces.
of course. Yeah.
So, you know, parks, city hall, courthouses, that kind of thing. But as far as, you know, saying take down, we're not.
We're not gonna go there.
That would be my strong advice is to not address it.
Okay.
So even though it's in this report, this ruling just came out this past year.
Okay.
So I don't want to touch it. I think it's a bad place to be. It's just let the private business take care of it. So that's my 2 cents on that one for right now. The other one for restrooms for customers only, again, I think it's up to private business more or less too. So I don't know how we feel about that, if we want to even touch that. it would probably be my advice to not go there as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the
Well, as a business owner, you know, there's a lot of people that go into the building just
Mhm.
wanting to use the restroom,
Mhm.
and they leave messes everywhere. We
right,
have one like that, our office,
right.
but only to customers.
And I think maybe it's Starbucks or some large companies kind of working through this right now, I think at a higher level. So we'll wait for them to figure it out before we
Yeah.
take any action. I think that would really be the best advice kind of with those two things
Mhm.
specifically. So yeah, my advice, don't touch them. Leave
Yeah.
them alone, even though they're in the report.
Let's let the owner decide if they want to.
Yeah.
Because they
post
only
that or
know
not.
how bad it gets, that's why.
Yeah,
Cause it can get pretty bad.
right, yeah, it can, right. So next, we kind of looking at,
The
here,
one with the posters and flyers.
yeah, posters and
And that's
flyers,
nothing right there.
right
They
here,
were, yeah, a Pepe's.
yeah,
I used to rent next to them. They had posters everywhere. You couldn't see inside, let's put it that way.
yeah, so I think the big thing that's coming out of this is, and I don't know council's history on this, but it might be something we wanna look at, and it's something we heard from the Mall Foster group, but kind of the advertising space in windows. Typically, what a lot of cities do is they limit space that
Space.
the display space. And one of the big reasons they do this is mostly for fire life safety issues. So if any sort of instance, they know police department needs to be called, and EMT, EMS needs to be called, they can see into the building, they know, they can kind of assess as they're
Right.
walking into the building.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason that it's done. And also it just kind of sets a standard for everybody to kind
Well,
of
it
work.
also, it's also the size of the the windows.
Yeah.
If they have like a little window, don't cover it with one poster. It's
Right,
gonna cover
yeah.
the entire window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's a huge window, one or two signs won't do nothing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if once the event or whatever is done or advertisement, take it off when it's done.
Yeah.
That's, or look, just like the
They
yard
didn't,
sale
they didn't
signs,
do that
take 'em
before.
down.
They didn't do that before.
No, they
The
would leave it
owner-
up.
Yeah.
The owner had to go down and tell them to take all that down because it was horrible.
Yeah.
I remember because we had a meeting, I never had anything in my window, so it didn't apply to me, but they had very old
So other
posters.
people are putting those up.
Yes, other people.
Okay, yeah, that shouldn't be right. Like,
Yeah, I know.
ask the
They
owner
left-
first.
Oh, they
before you
do.
Put it up, oh, they do?
Yeah, they do ask,
they
and
say
he
go ahead.
says, go ahead and put it wherever you want.
Oh.
I remember the chief had mentioned about doing a rule of having the signage at the bottom of the windows. Like a certain,
Let me make sure I'm sharing this.
a certain level. So they could still see over all the signage and see
Mhm,
who's
that
in
makes
there. So that might be something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Instead of having them everywhere, just do it all on the bottom part of your window.
You know, my office, it has big, large
I
windows.
love those
You know,
windows.
you know how many times people actually put posters to the outside?
Yeah.
I get there, I open and I'm like, oh, not mine.
So-
Not mine. And I tear them down and put them in the garbage.
So I think this is something that we can address through both a policy and a design standpoint. Maybe it is something I think the council might do, because.
They've already, there is
Okay.
an SMC on
Okay,
window signs.
okay, so we'll look at that and look at updating it or look at how it's being enforced or applied.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, look into the Supreme Court case on signs, because there was one that was
Mhm.
passed that was, went.
Yep.
City of Walla Walla, I think, and it was the guy that had the toy store with the big elephant.
Or the octopus sign?
The
That
octopus,
was, there
yeah,
it is, octopus.
Yeah.
I just noticed something.
yeah, there's that one, and there's also regulation of content.
I think they mentioned that at the walkthrough, he lost. Right?
I don't remember, what I do know is the city cannot, yeah, the octopus guy lost, yeah, but cities can regulate content, and maybe that's what they were getting at, I would have to visit that one,
Yeah.
I don't call that one. Okay, so move on to the next one here. Okay, so this is talking about the cleaning of sidewalks in front of the business spaces. So there's kind of a couple ways to address this. One would be, and I think this is probably more of a policy standard. One would be codifying some sort of something that tells the property owners to be responsible for the property in front of their business. That even though it's city right of way, that's typically how most cities do it.
Mhm.
Is even though it's in front of their business, they gotta make sure that there's no trash or anything like that. That's typically how most cities do it, because it's probably
Don't let
the
weeds
easiest.
get crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The leaves.
And this is something we probably need to revisit too, because I'm not sure if we have an SMC on this one, but this is something we probably need to visit.
Or like those fruit trees near the
Mhm.
kitty corner of
Yeah,
US
what's it?
Bank.
Yeah.
There's fruit, little fruits all over the sidewalk there.
Somebody purchased the wrong kind of tree in for that, and so probably you should just get a tree replaced, just get it
Mhm.
just replace
Take
it.
care of your tree, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably cheaper.
yeah.
Well,
And
yeah,
then-
then maintaining it year round, yeah.
I think the Daily News had those too, and they took them out, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
They were a mouse.
Yeah,
Little red
it's
things.
we walked through there,
Mhm.
it's,
And they're like little crab apples or something.
yeah,
like
it's a
that.
mess out there. So
Mhm.
maybe we can put that on the list to replace the
Actually, if you
trees.
just email Jane,
Mhm.
tell him that you would like that tree removed, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
You guys will just go do it, and sometimes the firefighters will do it for breakfast.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And another thing that a lot of cities do is they develop a list of a list of recommended trees that don't smell weird or drop a lot of fruit.
Yeah,
So
That's good.
That's on my list.
that would be cool.
so that's something we could probably, it wouldn't be too hard. There's a
No.
lot of east side cities that have lists for the high desert.
You share those trees with me when you find them.
I can do
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking
Sure.
for some trees. I want them to be like
Nice.
minimal cleanup.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
minimal effort, yeah. Okay, so go to the next one here. Okay, so this is just kind of talking about third places and where you like to go during the weekends, places that you kind of spend a lot of time socializing, dining, entertainment, and talking more about the pedestrian experience. So that's kind of where a lot of this ties in, is how you, and that's where the signs tie in and the sidewalks tie in, is, I guess, is the idea to keep people moving down the sidewalk, to pull them in, visit a business,
Mhm.
to encourage shopping, encourage them to spend money
In our town.
in your town, yeah, in our town.
Mhm.
So, and as he has up here, 70% of first-time sales come from curb appeal, 80% of all spending is done by women, and 70% of spending takes place after 6 p.m.
Hmm,
Late.
So, yeah, that's something
that's weird.
we might want to.
I'm in bed by 8.
I was gonna say.
Who are they studying
but
there?
after work, do you still do like, do you do any like online shopping after work? or
Oh,
anything like
yeah.
that?
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that used to take place more in cities and towns, but it's kind of taken more, it's kind of shifted to homes
Right.
after
Mhm.
work, it's on the
I'm an
couch.
online shopper too, and I do it after
Right.
work.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
right.
So,
It's after work usually. So
Yeah.
Thank you for your Amazon order.
yeah,
I
right.
know. Yes.
So so we can kind of,
Hurt businesses, hasn't it? The
Hmm.
Amazons.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is shifting back.
That's it.
Yeah, it is shifting back to in
Little
store.
boutiques are
Yeah.
coming back in.
what happens is the Amazon is raising the prices super like fast. They used to be super low.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been an online shopper for years. I hate going to
Mhm.
stores. But when they came, I started buying everything in there. And then one day I started checking my prices at Walmart or other places.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
Triple the price.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost triple. So I'm like,
Just compare.
So I compare first and then
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense that maybe we see some small businesses start to move in back down, and maybe that's something we want to start targeting, or small boutique startups. Maybe shared spaces, incubator spaces, maybe something to start thinking about, help kind of encourage some commerce in the downtowns. And that also ties into public parking. So we do have public parking downtown.
Talking about my favorite topic.
Right?
So this is, and this really, it should be a part of the equation, I think, is what parking should be. So if somebody comes downtown, they park in a parking lot, and then they make their way out to the sidewalk. And the sidewalk should be sort of clean, maybe well lit, trees, nice advertising space, open storefronts. They all kind of like, well, so you kind of feel comfortable as you walk down the sidewalk to the business. I think that's putting the whole equation together. And because we do have
But the main thing is to find a parking.
find a parking. Yeah,
Find a parking and then you can go to any business around.
right, and maybe that's what we do, because we do have lots of parking downtown, so maybe we need to put together a parking map.
No, that's a good idea.
Or update the free public parking signs to direct people there.
Or just tell the businesses that keep most of the parking to park over there.
Yeah.
Like the school across the
Oh,
street
yeah.
from me is taking all the parking
Mhm.
and it's hurting a lot of businesses, not only mine.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they just opened another salon right in that same school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are they gonna park? We don't have parking
Another
as it
school,
is.
so there's 2 schools?
There's that school and on the sign, what is it called? Art of Institute?
Oh, yeah.
They
They
just,
lease the other side. That
yeah,
was a 2,000 square feet.
yeah, so they
Yeah,
moved the other
where the
side
old
to a
Renaissance Center used to
uh-huh.
be. Yeah.
I
the
looked at
beauty
that
salon, there's
space.
on one
It's
side
really
and Nancy's on
nice.
the other one, but there's a third one. Yes, a third one, not the one you're talking about next to Nancy.
So maybe we need to do some sort of outreach, because
So business owners.
the business owners in particular, because I do notice that they use the parking right in front of their buildings,
Mhm.
and that should be for guests, patrons, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're
No, the
customers.
owner says the first one that parks right in front of her door and I see her coming in. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I park in the back using parking from US Bank, one day they're gonna kick me out. I'm hoping they don't.
But you do have another free parking lot right across the street from there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe we need to do
Update.
updates,
What
talk
you
about
said.
wayfinding.
Cause I had the.
Yeah,
apartment
you know,
from the
like
prior
in
US
touristy
Bank
towns like
manager.
Leavenworth and Chelan, right
Public
away when you come in, it
parking,
says
here you
public
I know
parking,
her
public
really well,
parking.
so when you're
Yes.
You
ready,
lead
Free.
everyone there, free
Yeah.
public parking,
Yeah.
everybody rushes there.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
If
She
they're
is.
already
She's
used to
really
it in
pretty
towns
young.
like that, why
Yeah.
couldn't they get
She's
used to it in a
Yeah,
place?
And
like
they
that?
will, especially for
And
like
so
I
I've
saw
known
the
her
parade
since
coming up,
2002.
everybody
Really?
flocks here, so.
That's
They
true.
know it'd be nice to get signs up. For
But right now
Before
it's
the
just me.
events.
Yeah.
So kind of gets a little bit back on track here.
Sorry.
Yes.
You're okay.
She's married to one of
Oh, really?
Sorry.
So moving forward with the whole part of parking.
Mhm.
So I think the idea of parking probably needs to be addressed through a design method, more or less. So we need to talk about wayfinding, we need to talk about how to get to parking once you get off the freeway or the highway into Sunnyside. You know, it
Yes.
directs you free parking, downtown,
Yep.
free parking. And you can find those spots pretty easily.
Free
And-
public.
That's for the people coming into town.
Right.
What
so-
about the ones that use the parking right
Yeah.
now that are not willing to park down the
Hopefully
road
they
because
see the
it's too far?
signs.
Yeah.
Even if they
And-
know, even if they know where the free parking is,
Yeah.
they won't go.
Well, not just that, like he said earlier, it's just a matter of us going and doing a visit and educating.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could do education and then
Can I stay sick that day?
Right?
but we can
Or
even
even a code
do
officer
education
could
through
even do it.
enforcement. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a method.
So the other thing that I was thinking would be really helpful for downtown business is on each block have 2 30-minute only parking spaces so people can come in and
Yes.
do their business and then get out.
Or maybe
Yeah.
do like 1 15-minute and 1 30-minute. You know
Yeah.
how like there's sections in towns, maybe we can do that, cause if somebody's gonna visit Leticia's business, just to go in there and make a payment really quick, that's gonna take 15 minutes. Even if they have a question, in 15 minutes, they're gonna be out. If they go to the jewelry store to pick up a damaged piece, they're just gonna pick up their piece and pay, that'll be 15 minutes. Pick up orders for tacos, that's gonna take less than 15 minutes.
Cause I have counted the parking in my building and across the street, how many spots we have. And just with the business owners that already park in the front, half of those are gone. And that's not counting the 10 girls that go in for the beauty school. And that's not counting the 4 or 5 that park from the apartment complex. Yeah, there's cars that are there all the time.
So we can just do that, maybe, and then
Yeah.
let them know that there's parking in the back of the building, right?
Not for them, it belongs to someone else. And they're not allowed to use them unless they rent the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's all about
Because the
education.
lady something like that, the lady, yeah, she tried getting that one, but she wanted the parking. And she was told that she needs to rent the entire building so she can use that. They were not even willing to give her like okay, yeah, you can park in here for so much a month or something, no.
Okay.
But if we think
It
there's
was
also
weird.
there's also some park, and that's all city parking.
You need
Mhm.
to go get a map.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope
So- and
that lady
that's
will
only
do
a
well.
block
She's
away.
doing good. I haven't been in there yet, but.
I went in
She's doing
there,
it?
I went in
There's
there,
some cute
yeah, there's some
stuff,
cute
yeah.
stuff, but it's not, for everyone, it's a high-end boutique, but yeah, it's pretty
There's hardly
cute.
any traffic though, again, because of the parking.
That's what I'm saying, like.
And
I'm-
she's hurting a lot too, because I went over and I was talking to her and she's like, it's always been like this, and I'm like, yeah, since I moved on 6th Street, yes.
Yeah.
That's how it has been. When I was on Decatur, Robinson actually told us not to park in there because that's for businesses. Park in the other side, and I'm like, why park in the back? Everyone in my office park in the back, and on the next office and the next office, we all park in the back.
I like that.
See
Yeah,
that
so
sign
I'll
right
hold it.
there?
Yeah.
Robinson.
Right.
Does that say free,
Yeah.
free
Free city
city
park.
parking?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's across the street from US Bank.
Yes.
So
Okay,
so
It's behind the post office.
so see that sign, for somebody like me personally, free city parking would make me think, is this for me to use or is this for city officials to use?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, so we can do
Free
Public
public
parking
parking.
only.
yeah, free
Yeah.
public parking. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we can and we
Like
can,
the sign is a little.
I mean, I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
For a lot of
some,
people
for a
don't.
lot of people,
Yeah.
especially so many people that don't have English as their first language.
Yes.
Definitely.
or
put public.
or maybe just say free parking.
Fruit,
Yeah.
just seriously,
Yeah,
make
free
simplify
parking.
it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Don't
free-
Very
overthink it.
simple.
Yeah, because city to them, well, maybe
They
this
might-
is, maybe this is for the post office.
Yes.
Maybe it's for city
Especially
officials.
because the fire department is on one
Yeah,
side. and
yes,
the post
Yeah,
office on the other.
so it has to be, we have to definitely take that into consideration, even with the wayfinding signs that we're gonna be
Just
focusing
free
on.
parking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I noticed that a lot of the girls that work in the and Luke's and all that place right there,
Yeah.
they've been
that's-
parking behind. That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
That's really
That is
good
good.
because they're not using
Yeah.
Edison or 7. You know,
Yeah.
they have like
They're
4 or
trying to
5
make,
spaces right
yeah, space for their customers.
there. Yeah.
They have
I
a lot of-
mean,
they have a lot of
I can
traffic.
walk 1 block down and go park in the free space.
There's like
Yeah.
10
If I'm
girls
leaving
working there.
an empty spot for a potential customer.
yeah.
There's a lot of cars because there's like 10 girls working
What
there.
about just signs on all of them? No, let's see, no, owner parking, how would you put it? No.
Customer parking only.
Yeah.
Customer parking
Customer
only.
so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you try to
That's literally what we see in other cities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It is, you're right.
so
I
Go to
thought about it.
Chelan, Chelan has a major
Same with
parking issue,
Leavenworth too.
huge,
I emailed this to you,
all
so
in
if
the
you
front. Mhm.
Want to open it for Dr. Chacon.
okay. I think we can
Thank you. You're fast.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, so Jay did this for us because the
Oh.
the
So
And
here's
it
a-
has
CDL.
so many.
Oh,
the
wow.
CDL school, when they moved
Do you even put
downtown.
how many parking spots there
No,
are?
Right.
no, Jay
Okay.
Hester did this for us.
so and that
This is cool.
and that's just on 5th. So
Yeah.
we're not talking about 6th and 7th. Kind
But
of
this is a start for you to
Yeah.
kind of look and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
The business that was
This is 6th
complaining
right here, right?
is right here,
yeah.
because he only has 10 spots right here, and he said he's never has a free
Is this
spot
6th right here?
because of
No, wait,
This
variety.
is
this is
Oh.
Centennial Square. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's another
What
topic to be
business?
said.
What business?
The CDL business. I think his name's
The new one?
Jose. Mhm.
Yeah. And he's amazing, very supportive,
Yeah.
and
Is
it
very
the- is it-
involved
is it
in
the one right
community
here?
events. He
He's right
is,
here.
I don't know where we're
Oh,
at.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the building I was looking into buying before.
Yeah.
My mind completely.
So-
But then if you guys look over here, this is free parking right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's free. This is a city lot right here. This is a city lot
Mhm.
and this is a city lot.
Yeah,
And that's what we need to focus on, is putting some signs
Yeah,
up to
signs up,
let
yeah.
people know.
so we should, so what I would kind of recommend kind of going forward, and we can work on this. But we should probably count the number of public spaces available, the number of private spaces available, and that'll give us our total. And then, yeah, we can look at maybe the wayfinding and directing people to those spaces.
So like, no one really knows, you said this one is city, right?
Yep.
So we should definitely have a sign out.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, there
It
is a
says
sign.
city parking.
Oh,
But it has the
Says-
same
says
sign as
free.
this one, free city parking.
Uh-huh. And
Oh,
then,
you missed it, cause we were talking about that. Maybe a lot of the people in town, they don't really know what free city parking is. Maybe they might think it's for city officials
Mhm,
or
mhm.
fire department.
We need to
or
put
something.
free parking,
Just
public
simplify it,
parking.
because a lot of people don't have English as their first language.
Yeah.
right, and we need to have our signs in English and Spanish.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
just
And so maybe
simplifying
it say, just needs to say free parking and
Yeah,
have
free
our logo,
parking,
and
yeah,
have our
just
logo.
super
Yeah.
simple.
Yes.
Just
Free
simplify,
Yeah.
simplify.
And I have a request. I want our signs redesigned. They look like they're from the 80s.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm
Even
into
our-
that.
Even our park signs.
Somebody just told me that.
Yeah.
A new guy that works at the fire department.
And I love the sign, I love the sun.
logo.
I like the
Mhm.
sign
It's just-
with the sun and green lettering, if that's the color we wanna use, or yellow and black. I think yellow and black's the new, right? The city of Sunnyside says it in black, and then it's the sun.
No, it's the logo.
Oh, yeah, see, yeah, so,
And
Yeah,
then they're still using the old logo on it, and that, because that's logo is from the 80s.
This logo right here?
No, the
No.
old logo.
no, the
It
one that
doesn't
you
have city
saw,
up.
the one that you
Mm.
saw on the free
Doesn't
parking.
Yeah,
have
this one
city
is
up.
free.
Yeah,
and it
this
doesn't
is the
have
one.
Washington.
Yeah, so we can,
Oh,
yeah, think about
But
updating the sign.
right, but definitely, like you were saying, the wayfinders or the
Mhm.
directories to be like, hey,
Mhm.
parking is
And-
over here on the corner.
And so luckily, we are working with the company right now to do, so we're doing some gateway signs.
Would
And
you like to see a picture of them?
I have them, well,
Okay.
yeah, so
Oh.
I have them and I can. bring
I
'em
wanna
up here.
see.
So we're gonna be working on some gateway signs off of six, or not six, off of first, and then YVH on the
Hmm,
east end, and
that's what we were
then.
talking about at one meeting.
So
yeah.
to update the signs that, from the ones that look like they're in the 80s, do we have to submit that to council for them to approve?
It depends on how much you spend. If you spend more than $7,500, then yes, but if you spend less, then no. Unless we budget a line item for it. And see, that has the old logo. I have one new that said it's, where's the new one with the new logo?
Is that what,
Is that for the,
City of
Yeah.
Sunnyside.
Yeah,
for the
So-
advertisement
uh-huh.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
so the
And then
logo,
you guys can make money off of the advertisements for businesses,
Right.
just like the Grandview thing.
Yep.
Love that concept.
I've been trying to do that since I got
I
yeah.
love that. I love it.
So
I know a lot of
if
businesses that.
if our budget is 7,500,
500.
That's gonna be more than
would
that.
you guys be okay
that's
with, if it's just updating, this is not, has nothing to do with the wayfinding, this is
Mhm.
just updating the signs. If we could find somebody local, a local business here that we can support in partnership with them and work with our budget, is that an option? Okay,
And you can spend more than 7,500, it just needs to be budgeted.
yeah,
Budgeted.
or
So we're
I'm
going-
just trying to avoid,
Outsourcing.
yeah, having to wait for approvals. If we can do that within our budget and
So
update the
we're
sign.
doing the budget right now, so.
Okay,
I recommend that you
Put that in there.
figure out a place for,
yeah, we'll have to look at that, yeah,
if you've got money somewhere.
cause that's parking, I'll talk to Shane.
Yeah.
Talk to Shane.
yeah,
Cause it's, signs are the responsibility of the street department if they're parking if they're for parks, it's the Parks Department. Yeah, so you're gonna deal with two different people,
yeah,
and probably Shane will put Rawl on it.
okay. Yeah, so we we can
Okay.
start looking at it now because it needs to be done.
Okay,
I think it's a big thing that needs to be done.
I would like to see us partner up with a local business. You know,
Yeah.
instead of, and then if it's not doable, then fine, we could, reach out to another company.
Should go talk to your guy in the mall.
Yeah, I'll do that too, yeah.
Um,
But no, it's otherwise, if there's ways to schedule out for the future too, so we can go, there's other processes to
Yeah.
ensure that we work with somebody local.
Yeah, okay.
I know a masonry that is from Sunnyside that does that work, that stonework.
So this sign right here is actually free to the city.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't charge us for it, and then we get 18% of the space for our stuff. And then any advertising, we get a percentage of that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grandview's they've made money on it, and
Yeah.
it's been a good thing.
Yeah.
I pay quite a bit. It's probably my biggest expense.
Because you're advertising there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now if Sunnyside has one,
Right.
I want it here too.
I know, right? All advertising.
$300 a month
Yeah.
to advertise on
$300
that.
a month.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it. I saw you for Lita and I was like,
Well, during COVID, farmers did a COVID relief funds for agents and they helped me with 50%. I could not turn that down, that offer.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
needed
yeah.
the exposure.
that is really good.
And so
Agent.
I
now,
called and it was $200 a month.
no. Yeah, go ahead.
so
Sorry.
it's kind of talking about the
Wow.
parking here.
Okay.
So then they're getting to the skate parks a little bit here. So when we're talking about the entire equation, when we're talking about the pedestrian experience and the walk and the I guess consumer experience, the resident experience, customer experience, and we're walking, and the idea is to find a space, park, get and walk, have that's good place to walk, a clean sidewalk, maybe some trees, well lit, good storefronts, and then filling those gaps. So there we have few of them here in Sunnyside, but gaps between buildings, empty lots, something burned down, absentee landlords, getting those spaces back online. And then
Is that one the one next to La
Juice
Estrella?
yeah,
Juice me?
and they have some,
Oh,
they have,
Yeah, they own the entire building.
yeah,
A lot.
and they have some cargo containers
used
in
to be-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
They used it for
furniture in there.
storage.
I know, and those
They look
probably
so
need
ugly.
to go. Those need to go, but
Yes.
but it's getting those spaces used again. Temporary seating, a little pocket park space.
Mhm.
They talk about a skate park here, just kind of thinking outside the box on what to do with those
Ooh, a
spaces.
skate park right there would be cool. That's
Do
like
Do you
right
remember what
downtown.
building
We
it is?
Yeah,
would have that portable one that we want to move
At,
Uh-huh.
at Sunnyview, or no, at Sunnyview
Sunnyview.
Park.
Uh-huh.
so that'd be kind of cool.
That would be so
Who
cool.
owns that
And then
place?
that
Do they
dirt
own it? La
bike
Estrella?
idea for the
Corona.
railroad.
Corona, right?
Yeah.
I mean, La Corona. Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called?
A pump track.
A
No,
punch.
but the
Who
law,
owns the
who
lot?
owns the land?
I'm
This-
pretty
Next to
sure it's
Corona.
them.
This
I
one,
heard
this
otherwise
is.
they wouldn't have those.
Cause it's
empty-
Juice Maze,
or those containers in there,
landlord.
right?
What's
Yeah,
that?
I think it's-
Otherwise they wouldn't have the containers in there. if it
Mhm.
Right,
wasn't
those
there.
containers are for his furniture and we have that year where they can do it for a year.
Yeah, we need to get him out of there.
We
I
might
think
have
he's.
to-
And
exceeded that.
your empty lot that's over here behind Jan's building, she would like to buy that for parking for her customers and her staff. But I told her I thought there was something with that property because I think there's a lien on it.
We'll have to look at it.
Yeah, but she wants to do that, and she
Okay.
wants to do building improvements.
Huh.
She just doesn't have the money, she needs a loan grant or something.
That's
Okay,
a
we'll
my
get to, we'll
subject.
get we'll get
That's
to that.
my-
Yeah,
I want that.
will be a
I
result.
want that yesterday, Trevor.
I know. I understand.
I think that's gonna give a lot of business owners, like building owners, a nice little push. If we could bring that grant or a loan or something. Oh, like,
Well, we committed $100,000 for building improvements for business owners and homeowners. 250? I thought we did 100,000.
100 for the demolition.
Oh,
so
right.
it's 250,000?
Uh-huh.
Yes, but we'll get there. We'll talk about it. We'll get there when we get there. Okay, that'll be
Right?
That- that'll be-
Trevor, you're holding out.
I'm not
on
holding
us.
out.
The problem with what you guys are dealing with right now is you're trying to take a bite out of an apple or like an elephant and eat it.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
all
okay,
at
we
once.
eat good.
I know, but it is, you're gonna have to kind of start
Break it down.
small
Yeah.
and it sounds
And
like
work our way up.
where you're at now is signage,
yeah.
Mhm.
and education sounds
Yeah.
like it's
Right,
like a-
so,
Yeah.
so we need to develop our policies and our design, we need to develop our policies.
Improve what we
Oh.
have
And we
now
need to-
and then bring more in.
And then, yes, and then
Okay.
we need to develop our economic plan, and then
Okay.
once we have that in place,
Mhm.
then we can dive into
Build our foundation.
build. Yeah, we can use those
Okay.
funding, we can set up a grant program, we can even look at doing a downtown association, we can
Like
look
the
at,
Main Street program.
Right.
Mhm. Okay.
and, but that comes after we kind of have our
Already
identity.
improved. Yeah.
Once
Mhm.
we're,
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
so if we,
Okay.
if we try to jump into it right now, then we have,
Then we just have
Yeah.
free
We have a
money
lot. We have a
flying
lot.
everywhere and then
No.
we gotta be smart
Changes.
about it.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
it changes now.
yeah.
And
Okay.
And Trevor, I would also recommend that the YD or YCDA stuff that I sent you with all their samples,
Yeah.
that master, it's like the kind of that master plan.
Mhm.
Start it with just these two things
Right,
and
right,
bring that forward to them so that they have a way of seeing how to plan a plan.
right, and then I was planning to do that after we made it through Roger Brooks.
Okay.
Awesome.
So that's where I wanted to head next after
Okay.
this. So,
And just so you guys know, when Roger Brooks came,
Mhm.
he had his presentation and I think it's online. I think you can still
Yeah.
see the video. There's only one business that showed up that is from from Sunnyside. And there was only 10 people, I think, in attendance, and it was all staff.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he was not impressed with us.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
And a lot of the businesses he went into didn't want to talk.
But it wasn't advertised, or it wasn't like.
No, they weren't supposed to. He was,
Oh.
It's like a
he's,
secret
it's like a
shopper.
secret, yeah, he like
Okay.
snuck in to see how people act and how he was treated.
Oh, gotcha.
And he said he wasn't treated very
He
Right.
probably, if he did go to my business, because I'm open by appointment only, or I'm with a client, like that's an issue. So it's like,
Yeah.
so,
I would
yeah,
totally welcome anybody in this. But
Yeah.
it's like,
so the other, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but so there's some other moving parts here. The port also has a grant with Malt Foster and Graham Baba to do a downtown design
Mhm.
guidelines, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. So here we're talking more about empty and vacant space, underused space. Luckily, we have something that'll be going into this area pretty soon, so that'll be redeveloped a little bit. I guess thinking creatively about like the art center, it just, the space could be used a little bit better. I guess it would be more forming relationships with people who operate that building and getting them to think more creatively about their space, putting on events.
Mhm.
Because
And actually, the owner of the buildings has approached me. I've already spoken with him.
Yeah.
And he is supportive of changing the parking there.
Yeah.
So what the plan is along the side where KFC is, all that sidewalk's gonna be pulled out and replaced. And then the angle parking like this is gonna turn into parallel parking because you can only get one car through that street.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we've already got that in our
so it's
street.
gonna be more accessible.
Yeah, it's gonna be in our street plan and the trees are coming out because they're too low.
yeah,
Well, it's gonna be busy now that Hoptown's going.
Right.
there,
Yeah,
So it's
that's gonna be
really
So that's on
cool.
our next year's street plan, so.
yeah,
Sometimes these meetings, it's probably good that I go, because I go to everybody else's stuff and I know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
what the plan
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
So,
it's
and,
good.
and we're doing the Sixth Street project that's starting, so that's another one that
right.
is gonna change the look of the downtown, so they're gonna finish it from Dosage all the way down to where the car lots are.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
to
Oh.
Ace.
All being redone.
Where
Oh, yeah,
the-
it's going to north.
Where the famous restaurant is
Mhm.
Yeah.
with the dancing versus.
Oh,
I knew about that.
No.
It's gross.
which one?
Yeah,
The one that's an
I-
event
the
center?
Caballé is
It's a restaurant and event
Event
center, I
center.
guess. You can also rent it out. And while
Which
you're
one?
having dinner, they have. dancing.
Right across from the railroad tracks.
Okay,
so,
And I'm so close and I didn't know.
yes, I love this idea. The
I
public
don't know how to
market.
make it, cause they're a restaurant, you see nobody.
And that's
goes
what
there.
Jay wanted to do with his
Like
parking lot
I wish I
that's,
had that money.
that they did the
Like
Elfest
that, they
at.
make it like
Yeah.
that.
I
That
mean,
he, that was his vision for that spot.
For what
Yeah.
spot?
Across from kitty quarter from
The
Bridal.
dirt
Yeah.
park gravel parking lot. So yeah, these are all economic development strategies that we should probably that we'll be looking into as again. So we're looking at these are different ideas, different concepts to help bring people downtown, increase foot traffic, get people to walk from one space to another. So that would be that'd be working it into an economic development plan, strategy, identity as we move forward. If we want something like this in our downtown,
That would be awesome.
or
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we have so many different mom and pop vendors and home
Yes.
bakers and all this stuff.
Mhm.
They do these pop-ups, right? Like I was talking about Love Mama. I mean, it's just like, that's one of very many.
Yep.
I mean, so many, hundreds of them.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give them a space to
Yes.
operate all year round.
All year round.
And to do what they love.
right, and that would come from like a market space or
Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it helps all the other surrounding businesses.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna help all
To
of
bring
us.
more people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
So maybe that would be.
All right, I have to go.
So sugar
to a
bees
different
is not
meeting.
an option for this.
It'd be nice. Well, I have
Aw.
people that are on board with that too.
Yeah, that'd be
Like,
awesome.
yeah.
We all have to
It's
buy
still an
Powerball
option.
tickets tonight.
Right.
like,
Right?
So we can
Buy-
go
Is
to
the
that.
thing
So I
tonight?
can, yeah, no, it's Wednesday.
Sure.
I think there's some extra.
She
Yeah,
promised
tomorrow.
that if you want
So I can come back and buy all of Sunnyside. The Powerball, 1.2 billion.
Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to buy a ticket.
Let's get some tonight.
Yes, we have to.
Bye,
So-
Elizabeth. I mean,
I think-
Bye, thank
Thanks.
you.
Okay, so moving on to the next.
You have to give me a ride, don't forget.
She's going to a meeting.
Okay, she
Okay.
picked me up. I was like, wait a
So
minute.
we're running on time.
Okay,
here.
sorry.
So again, more I guess talking about the events and this is more like they're looking at like a plaza site up here, talking about like a splash pad, and again, there's little some space
just
for
having
farmers.
multiple things, because when it's like
Yeah.
one, it's, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to
Yeah.
have a little.
Like the
thing.
public market, a place for farmers market,
Mhm.
you know, yeah.
And it could be indoor, outdoor, it could be seasonal, there could be a couple ways to do it. It just doesn't have to be one way.
Yeah,
So here again, programming for a plaza.
That,
Just,
that would be awesome right there, right by the pool.
yeah, there's
that would be ideal.
there's a lot of ways to rethink about these empty spaces because they're not even used for parking for most instances. They're just
Empty.
empty.
Well, I think she has a sign there that it's only for her store.
But people never go to her store through the back.
I know, but she's having the same problem as you, so she's using her resources.
Trying to
She
direct
has,
them.
if,
They park in her front to go other places?
yes, and to Safeway, or I don't know who's parking there, so she's using her back space
Mm.
for her clients.
Who is it?
La tienda
tienda
del
del
pueblo, the one across the street from Safeway, on the
Little
back end.
Mexican store?
Um,
The only one there actually.
Again, more
Is it her
plaza
salon on the corner store?
ideas.
Going in?
That ice rink would be so cool.
Ice rink
The
would be
two
cool.
were there.
A lot of
Yeah,
times
been
they'll
there.
incorporate like a little mini amphitheater that'll have, so you could do concerts, but
Like
you could also
plays.
do so there's a lot of ways to do something like that. If you kind of look at that was going to be part of this plan right here. So this was the plaza that was initially planned out for the city of Yakima once upon a time, but there's going to be, you can see my cursor here,
Mhm.
like an amphitheater over here.
Oh,
So this was all going to be covered for year-round farmers market or
Mhm.
three-season farmers market. It's going to be terraced seating up here. This also turned into a splash pad. So there are multiple ways to kind of use the space.
Yeah.
Think outside the box a little bit. Again, more splash pad, interactive. Play chess with the strangers or some kind of thing.
That's cool.
Kind of a lot of the same stuff. Just kind
That is
of
awesome.
yeah.
Can I
just-
put something out there? Sorry,
Sure.
I hate to interrupt. So all these things are so amazing, but what do we have an issue with? trash and vandalism.
Vandalism,
So
mhm.
can we somehow get into talks with code enforcement or whatever it takes to put signs up that they will be fined heavily,
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is,
minor or not?
so
You
this
know what I
is,
mean? Like, or somehow put it in there and be like, you will be fined.
And that will be linked with city cameras too.
Yes,
That
and to be posted that you are on here.
Yeah.
so that is something that we are in talks about right now.
Because I would hate to spend all this money. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody
you
steal the pieces to have
or
as decor in
vandalize
the
terrible.
room.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways to make this happen. One of them would be
Yeah.
with like a downtown association.
Mhm.
The downtown association would be kind of a self-assessment. So they'd be paying into a self-assessment program. And that would hire a garbage person
Yeah,
/
yeah.
street maintenance
Mhm.
person who would just kind of drive around, pick up trash, pick
Yeah.
up graffiti. And that would be their full-time job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that would be through a downtown association, however that looks. The other way would be through heavy enforcement.
Absolutely. Because it starts at the stores.
Mhm.
Like, why just clean up after everybody and then the problem gets worse?
Mhm.
Start with finding the people. For example, the schools just this year, this school year, the fire alarms kept on being pulled. And it was like constantly, like every day it was happening. Fire alarm was being pulled. So the fire department would come out, waste their time, their crucial time they could be going towards. So what they started end up doing is fining the parents of the kids. Hey, we're gonna fine you. And as soon as word got out that they were fining, the parents were being fined, obviously it stopped right away.
Yeah.
Literally, it took
Mhm.
like 2 days of 2 people getting fined and it absolutely stopped.
Oh, wow.
So literally, like, money
Yeah.
talks.
Oh,
When
yes.
when a parent gets fined, they're gonna
Mhm.
get that kid in trouble.
And
Yeah.
and that is
Starts at home.
something we are looking at right now, and
Mhm.
I've been talking to the code enforcement officers and
Yeah.
Elizabeth about
Littering,
a
'cause
citation program essentially.
yes,
So
because other city, or sorry, I hate to interrupt. No, other, not other cities, I don't, but other states, I go to other states, like in my family's state, North Dakota. It's like $2,000 fine for littering.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So bad over here. I mean, especially in the country. I mean, obviously, we're in the city right now. We're talking about city, but
Right.
you guys know how it is in the country. It's
Oh, yeah.
terrible. It should be thousands of dollars for a fine. So they actually think in their head, like, this is absolutely not right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna litter on your own property.
Yeah.
This is it's so unacceptable. It's like, you know,
Mhm.
take care of your land, take care of, respect your home.
Yeah.
So
That tells a lot about someone.
the what?
Like, that tells a lot.
It
tells you a lot
does.
about
Oh,
someone. When you
it
see their
does.
house, when you see everything.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
I know. It's just it's not gonna go away. You're like, what do you think it's gonna do?
So yeah, that's through it. Fortunately, it's through education and enforcement.
And
So
enforcement, I mean, that's the only way, because just for like the thing.
Talking
the-
about
the
graffiti,
fire-
I have to paint one in the back.
See?
Somebody did a graffiti in my building in the back.
yeah, yeah, paint it out before it gets worse. Otherwise, they'll
Mhm.
keep
Yeah,
tagging
because it's
it.
just like a dog when they do it. And
It's,
the other
it's
dog.
been, it's been like that for a while, and I forgot about it because I don't
Get over it.
because it's like another side. I don't see it, and when I see, I'm like, "Ah, I'm gonna do it, and I forget about it again.
Mm-hmm. Is it
Okay.
big or is it little?
No, it's big.
So and more activities, yoga in the park.
That would be cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
In the park.
Activities
Those
for
are those
kids.
Legos kind of thing for kids.
It's like
Like
a
the
kind of
little
like
foam boxes.
build your own playground kind of deal.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cool.
It's so good to do interactive stuff with
Yeah,
with
so-
kids.
And that's a big thing too, especially in Sunnyside, throughout the valley, because the Yakima Valley is a pretty young community. The average age in the Yakima Valley is, I want to say it's like 35, 36. So it's pretty young, a lot of young families.
Mhm.
So having stuff for families to do during the weekends, kind of stay
Yeah.
local, do stuff at the kids park, yada yada.
Mhm.
So that's something we probably think outside the box a little bit. What do we want to do to specifically address Sunnyside and the families here? How they spend time in public space. And we can do that through, again, design, or that would be that can be a fun one. That could be a really fun, interactive one.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a big thing. So food trucks.
Taco trucks.
Everybody loves them.
So they're great, but they're also annoying at the same time. So, and this is something we need to kind of address, I think, as a little bit more as a whole in the city, not just downtown, but everywhere, is where do we want them to be? Do we want them to be mobile? Do they need to go away at the end of the day? One of the things we're seeing with like the ice cream trucks is where they pull up in front of a school and they just sit there all day long, which is not really in the spirit of being a mobile vendor.
Right.
So do we want to make designated areas for them? Do we want to put more, like, do we want them to be within a certain distance of
Yeah.
maybe an already established restaurant? So how do we think about that a little bit?
I mean, them taking it home at the end of the day would be ideal for us, but it's gonna be a pain in the you know what for them.
Yeah,
So
what I would like personally is to have little food truck pods kind of set up strategically throughout the city. Maybe one near downtown, maybe one on the east end of town, near Walmart or something like that.
yeah, and then one on the other side near the PD.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just kind of have them
3
strategic.
sections throughout the town.
So it's kind of a little flavor of
Yeah.
everything everywhere. And that can be done through policy pretty easily.
I mean, because if you really think about it, we have a lot, so we definitely have to come up with something that is fair and supportive of their business
That's the
here.
thing, if that's all they can afford to park it at a cheap place.
Yeah.
Right.
But it obviously needs to be accessible and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but hopefully they'd be smart enough to choose a good spot for the park. And stuff like that.
And I think there are strategies, especially because we do have a lot of city park area. And if we kind of set up something that's strategic and works with the food trucks, like the park near the PD, there's that big empty field near the PD. It has decent access. There's a lot of space out there. Stuff is gone. So that means our meeting's probably pretty much over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't do anything because it's not enough of us.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry,
No,
meeting
you're good.
adjourned.
Well,
That was good though.
email. Yeah, so we'll on page 68.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe she was trying to get us our
Yeah.
attention. I didn't see it. So we can talk a little bit more about this next month.
She was
Yep.
there, now she comes.
Yep,
And I'll bring in some of the parking surveys and studies and stuff. And it's only an hour. I don't know if we want to find a way to meet for more because we have a lot.
I think
About-
an hour and a half or 2 hours isn't gonna, just give us time and give us a notice. Like if you tell us that you want our next meeting to be an hour and a half. When's our next meeting? December? are we gonna have one sooner?
December 6th.
Then we can make that an hour and a half or 2 hour meeting if we needed to.
Kind of get things squared away.
Yeah, just send it to her, cause she's the one that books appointments far out.
Yeah. She probably had an appointment, so.
Tuesday, December 6th at noon.
Well, that's it. So I will, meeting adjourned at 1:06.
Oh, you got.
I got bingo.
So stop
I did a week on my skirt. You had to go.
Oh, here we go.
You had to go. Oh,